The Raptors come from behind to beat the Charlotte Hornets 123-117. Welcome to Raptors Tonight. I'm Randy Urban, joined by Jack Armstrong, Jevohn Shepherd, and Paul Jones. Jonesy, I'll start with you. Raps defense struggled for the first three quarters. How'd they turn it around defensively in that fourth?
Jevohn and I were talking about that on the radio side. I think they got some energy from the way they started to play offense. And, it's terrible. It shouldn't happen like that. But your offense always impacts your defense. Jevohn and Jack, if you ever played with Randy, as soon as he makes a basket, he's the first guy back on defense, and he's directing traffic, and it's
very vocal.
Very vocal. But listen, that's human nature, and it's the nature of the vagaries of the game. When you play, your offense sometimes helps and gives your defense a little bit of energy. And I thought once they started to come back, they kept kind of clawing away and get to within 6, and then they'd slip, and then they get to within 4, and then they'd slip. But I thought their offense did a good job of energizing them, and they dug in defensively. And listen, they got in this day and age what you need in the NBA, and that is key stops. Not consistent, but just get the big ones when you need them. And I thought they did that in the second half.
Speaking of offense, Jack, solid performance from RJ Barrett tonight.
RJ was great. Would you have 6, 7 guys in double figures? And he was really good tonight, though. His efficiency level, I just thought he did a great job, using screens, attacking downhill, getting to his weak hand, just being super intense in terms of how he played. And, interesting, Jonesy made a great point about, just the offense and how they played. Sometimes even professional teams lose their confidence a little bit.
Yeah.
And when you start scoring points, you get it back a little bit, and it helps you in other areas. So I agree with what Jonesy said, and obviously Jonesy said he and Jevohn were chatting about it on the radio tonight, and I agree with them that sometimes you lose a little bit of that mojo, and you get a little bit of that mojo back when you start scoring points. So when Jevohn and Jonesy talk about that, I'm in accordance with it. I think it matters, and it shouldn't matter, but it does. Particularly a team that's really struggling right now.
Jack, you know what it is? That ball has energy, right? And when guys get it, the ball has energy. As a player, when you touch the rock, you see it go through the hoop, and then guys are passing and moving around. Everybody's that much more motivated on the defensive end as well. And I thought, when you guys both mentioned the offense manufacturing energy for the defense, I thought in that fourth quarter, the Raptors were far more patient with what they were running. A number of times we see, and you knew that Charlotte's not a great defensive team, the worst ranked in the league, but you've seen them pitch behind to RJ in the open court, that 5-out offense, getting downhill to the rim. Then you see multiple actions where you would have a stagger on the left side of the floor, and then Pirtle and RJ running that 2-man game off of the elbow and making plays from that. And it was just a collective, group effort. I think there was one play in particular where, RJ worked the baseline on the left-hand side. He kicked it out. There was an extra pass, and Emmanuel quickly got a drive down the center of the key. But the big part about that play, the important part about that play, was Pirtle setting the screen on Richards and just pinning him under the basket. Selfless play. It's not going to show up on the stat sheet, but you get an easy layup from that. And what happens there? Everybody's on the run back to defense saying, great pass, great screen, great look. And that's a team collective effort. Little plays like those, big play.
Randy, it was always taught to me that, and it's something that, one of my professors told me in my kind of advancement in the sports psychology realm. He said, confidence in a basketball game is like money in a poker game. It's a zero-sum entity. When I have a lot, you have a little. And you could tell the Raptors with the offense gaining more confidence. And the more confidence that they gained, the less Charlotte seemed to have. Listen, you look at the shot that put them in the lead, great ball movement. It gets to Grady. and he bangs a three. And that just did everything for them. They're down 15, and all of a sudden you look up, it's the fourth quarter, and you got the lead. You know, you've kind of hung in there. And I mean, literally, you think about it, they won this thing going away. They had 30, I don't know what they had in the fourth quarter, but they had 37 points in the third quarter, and they were down 15 before you could tie your shoes early in the game. So I think the confidence was a big part of it.
Jack, Jonesy mentioned Grady, and I watched him make one of those threes tonight, and he just looked so much more confident with it, so much more aggressive with it. I wouldn't say he was hunting that shot, but he just felt really relaxed taking that.
Correct. And I think he's going to end up being a good NBA player. You know, it's interesting when you watch him play. His floor game is really good right now. Like, he's already got the floor game in terms of cutting, moving, spacing, seeing the other nine, the awareness level. It's all there. His alertness level, he's cued in. He's good. The thing that he has to get to now is he has to become a consistent shooter. I'll never forget when I was a kid, I saw Brian Winters. I was at a basketball camp, and Brian Winters spoke, and he said, look, here I am. I'm playing in the NBA. Here's what it's all about. If you make uncontested shots, you need to make uncontested shots. If you do that, you're a professional player. If you make semi-contested shots, you make good money. If you make fully contested shots, you're a superstar. And I'm sitting there going, wow, I'm a kid. I'm a little kid. I'm going, wow, this guy's making sense. I'm looking at Grady Dick. Grady Dick is never going to be a guy who's going to make the fully contested shot. He's probably not going to make a lot of even semi-contested shots. But his job is to make open shots. And he has to be lethal. He has to be elite at that. And if he does that and he has the floor game that he has, you know what? He's going to be making a lot of money. And when he's 45 years old, he's going to be sitting on an island smoking a cigar with a little cocktail in his hand, living a good life. So it's all
like
about
Jevohn.
making open like Jevohn. Well, God bless her. Jevohn. Hey, look.
Yeah.
I'd
agree. But you know what, Jack, to your point, I think sometimes we're too critical of, you know, this 20-year-old rookie. The reality is when you draft players, you know, you look across the league, you get three types of players, right? 90% of the league is role players, other 5% is specialty guys, and then that small 5 is your superstars. So if Grady has a chance to grow into a specialty guy, you've done the job. The rest of the guys are going to be out of the league, right? So he's got
right.
We can't continue to evaluate rookies 1 year after that. There's so much for him to adjust to. At 6'7", this is the first time that he's had like-sized players contesting his shot. Speed, athleticism, his body's got to catch up. I'm not saying he's going to be, you know, to your point, he's not going to be this elite, you know, 30-point guy a night. But if you can mature into a specialty guy, that is something that you last in this league 10 years.
I got a name for you.
Can I just say
Jacko.
something to you? I just, that's my point about Grady Dick, is just like, if I had, you know, if he and I sat together and had a cold beverage together, and I would just say to him, I would tell him the Brian Winters story. I would just literally say to him, hey, man, look, all you have to do is make open shots. If you make open shots and have a good floor game, you'll make a blank ton of money, as you know what I'm saying. You'll make so much, you'll be fine. And Jonesy, go ahead, but that's my point.
No.
It's not that hard. He's never going to be a superstar, rock star. I'm not trying to burst his bubble. He is who he's going to be. He's going to be a really good player. But let's not try to make him something he's not.
I got a name for you, and maybe one of our guys behind the scenes, our producer Christian or our associate producer Nick, can look it up. I got a name for you. And right now, the name to me when I think about Grady is, here's what you aspire to be in the short term and then improve on that later going forward. I keep thinking about Doug McDermott. He's been in the league I don't know, 8, 10 years. He keeps going to another team that can use his 3-point shooting. He hustles on defense. He's never gonna like lock anybody down, but he's in the right spot defensively. I think Grady may even have a better floor game than him right now. But
I think he does.
When he's moving Dougie McBuckets, and he comes off screens and he gets those feet set, he knocks it down. And so I think in the short term, and Jack, if I was sitting across, maybe serving the beverages to you and Grady and taking the odd sip myself, I'd say, watch this guy. Watch this guy. Doug McDermott. Watch this guy. Son of a coach. Isn't crazy athletic, but he's carved out a 10-year career probably and has made good money, and teams keep wanting him because of what they see that he can do.
Doug McDermott, a career 41% from the 3-point line. So you shoot like that. He's
making open shots.
Not hard.
How many years? How many years has he been in the league?
I mean, let me look. Like 10 years already.
10 years.
23 to 32.
There you go.
He's getting the NBA pension.
There you go.
Shing.
All right, guys. I just want to say congratulations to Scotty Barnes, who was named an All-Star reserve as an injury replacement. Jevohn, winning aside, it's really hard to argue against this when you consider Scotty's numbers across the board.
Yeah, and take numbers away. Let's completely forget numbers for a second. Scotty impacts the game in so many ways, right? And to the point that the bar and the expectation we have of him is so high. And sometimes when he doesn't reach that, we're overly critical of him. But, I think he's a tremendous defender. He's probably even a better off-ball defender because he covers so much space than he is on ball. And not only can he put the ball in the hoop, and we talk about his shooting, that's his improved shooting from the 3-point line, but he's a hub that you can play through, right? You give him the basketball, and he makes his teammates better. A lot of guys in the league, like we mentioned before, they can knock down shots, especially guys that are role players. But when you talk about hubs that you can actually play through, you're talking about a very small handful of guys in the league. So I think this is great for him. It's an injury replacement, but it also should motivate him. And, you get to Indiana, you get into the locker room, and you see the guys that you're amongst and rubbing shoulders with, and you still have room to take it 2-3 more levels. And I think that's the impressive part in all of this.
That's a great point you make about elevating your game and being motivated by those games. How can that happen, Jonesy, specifically?
Because, Jack and I have talked about this, and I think the first time was probably about 15, 16 years ago with the Redeem team in 2008, when they were all together trying to win back the gold medal, the USA, when they had LeBron and Kobe and Chris Paul and Chris Bosh and Joe Johnson and Dwight Howard. And that was like a who's who of the time at the NBA. And it was Kobe and we've all seen the documentary. It was Kobe leaving the elevator at 5 a.m. and telling them he was going to run through his teammate Pau Gasol. And now you're around guys that are the best of the best. I think Jack said it. Jack said it's like being at a CEO's convention. You see all the other leaders of companies and what they do to make their companies great, and how these guys work out. And you play one-on-one with LeBron after practice, and you have shooting contests with Kobe after practice, and you take little things from these guys and you improve your game. And as Jevohn said, it motivates you. It's like, I want to get back there. I want to show these guys that I'm a good player too. So listen, it's part of the environment helps shape who you are. Being in that all-star environment can do nothing but good for a kid like Scotty.
Okay, guys, great stuff. Going to stop it there. Next game for the Raptors is Friday versus Fred VanVleet and the Houston Rockets. Fred, unfortunately, won't be playing, but hopefully he'll be in the building. Tip-off goes at 7:30 p.m. Eastern. Don't forget, after the game, come on by Real Sports. Be a part of the show. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time.